34% of women aged 15 and above have experienced physical violence. 10.4% have experienced sexual violence, and 40% have faced intimate partner violence.
13% have experienced sexual violence. Nearly 40% of survivors never seek help.
In Kenya, tech-facilitated gender-based violence is on the rise, with 22% of women reporting online harassment and non-consensual sharing of intimate images.
And privileged to join you for the launch of the Activate Nairobi campaign, an initiative that creatively brings together community engagement, cultural expression, and social transformation. Allow me to sincerely appreciate the Embassy of Italy, the Italian Agency for Development Cooperation, and the Italian Cultural Institute for your dedication, partnership, and innovation in championing this important work. Ladies and gentlemen, this campaign comes at a critical moment for our nation. Kenya continues to witness rising cases of gender-based violence, including the deeply troubling increase in femicide. Activate Nairobi stands as a powerful national milestone, amplifying voices, mobilizing communities, and inspiring action. Gender-based violence against children, that is VAC, we call it VAC, remain some of the most urgent human rights challenges of our time. While GBV affects individuals across all ages, children and adolescents bear some of the deepest and most lasting scars. Many experience violence in places that should offer protection, which is homes, schools, online platforms, and communities. The trauma of such violations affects not only their health and education, but also their confidence, development, and future potential. Recent statistics paint a worrying picture. 34% of women aged 15 and above have experienced physical violence. 10.4% have experienced sexual violence, and 40% have faced intimate partner violence. Femicide cases continue to rise sharply, affecting families nationwide. These are not just numbers. They represent real women, real children, real lives, and real fortunes cut short. This is why Activate Nairobi is more than a campaign. It is a lifeline and a platform and a movement for awareness, prevention, and national consciousness. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Gender, Culture, and Children's Services is mandated to advance gender equality, protect women and children, strengthen cultural expression, and promote the creative sector as a driver of social justice and national development. Over the past year, we have intensified efforts to strengthen the national child protection system and community reporting mechanisms, scale up safe spaces and shelter for survivors of both GBV and VAC, improve coordination among health, legal, psychosocial, and social protection services, expand county rescue referral and response systems, promote positive parenting and community awareness on violence prevention, use cultural and creative expression to shift mindsets and challenge harmful norms. Throughout history, art, whether music, poetry, visual arts, film, dance, or storytelling, has been a powerful instrument for reflection, healing, advocacy, and social transformation. Today, as we launch this campaign, we celebrate the artists, cultural practitioners, innovators, influencers, and youth champions who are courageously using their talents to spark dialogue and confront injustice. The exhibition, Empowering Art, Kenya's Creative Voices, is particularly inspiring. It gives young people and emerging artists a platform to express the realities of violence, resilience, hope, and responsibility through their own lenses. Their work challenges us to confront uncomfortable truths while reminding us that children and women thrive when communities choose protection over silence. Ladies and gentlemen, ending violence demands collective action. Government, civil society, private sector, artists, youth groups, community and religious leaders, parents, educators, and the media. Each has a unique and powerful role to play in building a Kenya where women and children are safe, valued, and supported. I call upon our artists and creators to continue using their platforms to promote positive masculinity, challenge harmful norms, celebrate resilience, and inspire change. I also call upon every Kenyan to speak out when women, children, or vulnerable individuals are at risk. Together, we must build a culture where violence is not tolerated in any form. To the government and the people of Italy, we deeply appreciate your continued support in strengthening protection system, empowering communities, and amplifying creative voices for social transformation. In conclusion, as we launch the Activate Nairobi campaign, let us commit to raising our voices loudly and consistently throughout the 16 days of activism and beyond. Let us build a nation where every woman, girl, boy, men, and vulnerable persons live free from violence and fear.
It is a real pleasure to be here for the opening of the Activate Nairobi campaign. My sincere appreciation to the Embassy of Italy, the Italian Agency for Development Cooperation, and the Italian Institute of Culture for convening this very important event and for inviting UN Women to stand with you in advancing the right of every woman and every girl to live a life free of violence. Friends, violence against women remains a crisis of immense global scale. According to the WHO, 1 in 3 women have experienced physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. Here in Kenya, 34% of women aged between 15 and 49 years old have experienced physical violence. 13% have experienced sexual violence. Nearly 40% of survivors never seek help. Plus, gender-based violence costs Kenya an estimated 46 billion Kenyan shilling every year. These numbers, dear friend, represent lives interrupted and family destroyed and communities held back. But we also know that this truth, that violence against women is preventable when we invest, when we collaborate, and when we build alliances and act boldly. On the eve of the 16 days of activism, Activate Nairobi gives us a powerful moment to unite our voices and commitments. This year, the Unite Campaign 2025, once again, calls on all of us to invest to prevent violence against women and girls. And for the 2025 campaign, the theme of the Global 16 Days mobilization is clear and urgent: end digital violence against all women and girls. From online harassment to cyber stalking, non-consensual sharing of images, hate speeches, and digital exclusion, technology is increasingly being used as a tool of harm. The digital space must be a space of safety, a space of opportunity and empowerment for women and girls, not one of intimidation. This theme reminds us that prevention must extend to every sphere of women's life, physical and digital, and that the solution must be forward-looking, innovative, and rooted in human rights. This theme also reinforced that ending gender-based violence is everyone's responsibility. Cultural institutions, such as this library, shape the values and narrative that drive social change. And Italy's leadership through development cooperation, cultural diplomacy, and co-chairing of the DBBG, continues to amplify the voices calling for dignity, equality, and safety, online and offline. Friends, Activate Nairobi is not just an opening. It is a call to conscience, a reminder that silence enables violence and that action interrupts it. UN Women is proud to work with Italy and other development partners in Kenya, Kenya's institutions such as the State Department of Gender, counties, NGOs and CSOs and community to strengthen prevention, response and accountability. Because ending violence against women and girls requires the strength of so many hands. Government leadership through national gender-based violence framework and SDG 5 implementation is key. Civil society's courage on the front line is critical. The youth movement shaping new digital and community narrative is key also. And partners like Italy, whose co-chair and the coordination that they are leading in elevating gender equality across the development cooperation is central to the work that we are doing. It is this collective force that will transform the lives of women and girls across Kenya. As we look ahead, I see three priorities that must guide us. We need to invest in prevention at scale. Sustainable investment is essential to shifting social norms online and offline. We need to strengthen survivor-centered system. Survivors deserve timely health care, counseling, shelter, justice without delay, and dignity at every step. Lastly, we need to elevate youth leadership and men leadership. Kenya young people and our male champions are central to the fight. When we are looking at young people, they are digital creators and influencers. Their leadership is indispensable in ending digital and physical violence. In closing, friends, tonight let's activate Nairobi and activate lasting change.
Gender-based violence is one of the most widespread human rights violations affecting women and girls. According to 2022 Kenya Demographic and Health Survey, 41% of women physical, sexual, emotional, or economic in their lifetime. The impact is far-reaching, affecting survivors' physical, psychological, and emotional well-being. According to Italian Statistics Office data, 32% of women in Italy have experienced physical or sexual violence at least once in their lifetime. The most serious form of violence are perpetrated by partners or former partners, relatives or friends. In 63% of rape cases, the perpetrator is the woman's partner. In Kenya, tech-facilitated gender-based violence is on the rise, with 22% of women reporting online harassment and non-consensual sharing of intimate images. While the government of Kenya has made progress, including the Data Protection Act and the amended Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act, challenges remain. Many survivors face barriers to reporting abuse, such as fear of stigma, lack of digital literacy, and mistrust of justice system. In Italy, the news reports daily evidence and denunciation of online threats, stalking, harassment, and revenge porn. The Activate Nairobi 2025 campaign is more just than an event. It is a vital effort to combat GBV, raise awareness, and promote lasting change. This edition brings together Italian and Kenyan institutions, artists, and communities. Together, we reaffirm the right to live free from violence and discrimination. As we launch the campaign tonight, we recognize that every exhibition, performance, and conversation is part of a larger movement to amplify survivors' voice, challenge harmful norms and demand accountability across society. The 16th day of activism reminds us everywhere in the world that fight against gender-based violence is shared responsibility of women and men alike. Today, moreover, we celebrate the young artists who took part in a competition launched on the occasion of the International Women's Day, inviting them to express these themes through visual arts. Their work creates an ideal fil rouge between the two important dates, the 8th of March and the 25th of November.
On behalf of the government of the Republic of Colombia, our Vice President, Her Excellency Francialena Marquez, and all the women and girls of Colombia, I would like to thank the invitation to be part of this event to launch the Activate Nairobi 2025 campaign. In all countries, and as a global community, every important step towards this horizon in terms of legislation, public policy, and social change have been the result of actions and claims of women who, despite exclusions and violence against them, have had the resilience, capacity, and power to provide concrete proposals and roadmaps to their governments. In the case of Colombia, our robust legislative and policy framework have not been the result of the spontaneous initiative of governments. The claims of grassroots women organizations, especially those established by victims of gender-based violence, have been the political variable that governments have to follow. These 16 days of activism are the occasion to celebrate the women worldwide who engage in activisms for their rights for 365 days of the year. This year's theme of UN Women's 60th Day of Activism also call us to rally for a world where technology is a form of equality, not a harm. Technology and art both have the potential to bring about a world free of the scourge of gender-based violence, and everybody, not just women and girls, but also men and boys and people of all genders and generations must engage visibly and vocally in this common cause.
We are always called for celebrating International Day for women, for children, for environment. We have always an excuse of a cause to support. But I think this is the only campaign that lasts 16 days. And the length of this campaign also is a sign that what the campaign is for, so the objective is because we have actually a big problem. So the 16 days is a way to remind us that all around the world, because unfortunately violence against women is not something that is limited by development or is linked to just a specific part of the world. This is, unfortunately, again, I want to repeat, is something that is common all around the world. North, south, east, west, we have the same, we need to face the same challenge. So I think, as I said, it's the only campaign that lasts so long, but I hope that in the future there will not be, there will no reason to have a campaign for 16 days. So this will mean that what we have done had an impact. But I really would like to finish with more uninspiring, let's say, if I can be more inspiring than you, Fabio, let's see, to reaffirm our collective commitment to a future where every woman and girl can live free from violence and discrimination, when their rights, voice, dignity, and aspiration are respected, supported, and protected. And I think that together we can really build a more inclusive, safe, and equitable societies, because we really deserve it. So, especially the next generation deserve a better society.